CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Hello all, Jim Nance from our NFL Today studios in New York. Coming up for most of you, the Kansas City Chiefs will be taking on the Denver Broncos. Brian Griese trying to get the Broncos back in the win column after last week's setback to the Baltimore Ravens. Some of you will see the Buffalo Bills hosting the New York Jets. Rob Johnson hoping for some time today. He's been sacked 13 times in the Bills' 0-3 start. Meanwhile, out in Seattle, Jacksonville comes to town. Trent Dilfer will start for the injured Matt Hasselbeck for the Seahawks in that game. We'll see it back here at halftime. Enjoy the games on CBS.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a salute to the game's early season surprises. Subway, eat fresh. In Week 3, Dick Vermeil earned his first win as Chiefs head coach with help from running back Priest Holmes, who had 225 total yards and 3 touchdowns in a 45-13 rout over the Redskins. The Patriots upset the Colts 44-13 with a defense that intercepted quarterback Peyton Manning 3 times, returning 2 picks for touchdowns.
Whoa, whoa, did you bake this bread? You have any idea where it came from? No. So, what do you think? Don't you just love the smell of fresh baked cardboard? Subway bakes their bread fresh every day, right, Nancy?
Right, Jim. Subway's got 4 new delicious Subway Selects, like the tasty Southwest chicken, all in fresh baked gourmet bread.
Once you go fresh, you never go back.
Subway, eat fresh.
Test your football knowledge at Subway. Just upsize your fresh value meal and get one of our 2 32-ounce gridiron trivia cups.
No one ever said being a head coach in the NFL was easy. But then again, being an NFL starting quarterback is no walk in the park. Seattle must find a way to get on track before their coach ends up in hot water. Tom Coughlin is the only coach Jacksonville has ever had. Last week, his offense was blindsided. Today, they hope to bounce back against the Seahawks. The NFL on CBS brings us to Seattle, Washington. Husky Stadium, the temporary home of the Seattle Seahawks. Today, they match up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Week 4 of the National Football League's regular season. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots. 8 months ago, Trent Dilfer was on top of the football world. He helped lead the Baltimore Ravens to a championship. But during the offseason, couldn't find anybody that was willing to give him a starting job in the NFL. Guess what? Injury to Matt Hasselbeck, a groin injury. Dilfer's the starter today.
That's right. Trent Dilfer is being asked to come in and rescue this Seahawks offense, which has only scored 2 touchdowns in their last 3 games. Trent Dilfer is 15-1 in his last 16 starts, including a Super Bowl championship in Super Bowl 35. And today, Trent Dilfer is being asked by his head coach, Mike Holmgren, to come out and make plays for this offense in order for them to win here today.
Let's talk about the Jacksonville quarterback situation, because there were question marks during this week. Mark Brunell last week against Cleveland. Disappointing loss. He suffered his first ever concussion. Well, we spoke with him yesterday, and Brunell is ready to go. Physically not 100%. He'll be in there.
And it's surprised to see that he was okay after suffering this wicked hit last week by Cleveland Browns defensive tackle Gerard Warren, who was fined $15,000 for that hit on Brunell, but that doesn't make Brunell feel any better. Today, he makes his first return to Husky Stadium, where he played collegiately at the University of Washington. He said he's feeling okay, and his team's going to need him here today.
Tom Coughlin now in his 7th year as the head coach in Jacksonville, and this offense will be better today in his eyes because he's got Tony Baselli back in the lineup. We'll talk about that when we take a look at the starters. Ready to kick it off, Mike Holmgren's team doing the honors, and Damon Gibson is waiting from the 3. We're underway from Seattle. Gibson crosses the 20 and gets level. A 20-yard return as he took it out to the 23-yard line, and Alex Bannister making the stop on special teams, and Bannister is down, and down hard to open things up. Seattle comes in at 1-2. Jacksonville at 2-1, a 23-14 home loss to Cleveland. A game they trailed 13-0 at halftime and then took a 14-13 lead only to see it dissipate. Seattle, a 38-14 loss in Oakland. They have been thoroughly outplayed in their last 2 games and have been beaten by a combined score of 65-17 by both Philadelphia and the Oakland Raiders. And Mike Holmgren, he's been dealing with question marks throughout the week. His dual role running the football operation and being the head coach And right now he's dealing with an injury on the field. Alex Bannister, the rookie.
Yeah, Alex Bannister was hit pretty hard trying to return this kick for the Seattle Seahawks. And he's actually coming down and looking to make a tackle, I should say. And he sticks his head in there the way you want, but I think it had to hurt his neck or his shoulder. But that's the way coaches teach you to come in and stick your head in front of the ball carrier and try to make the tackle.
Both of these teams have been dealing with a bevy of injuries. And we'll talk more about that when we return. Tough way to start this one out, though. 9 seconds in. We'll step away for a moment. Rookie Alex Bannister appears to be okay. He was able to walk off the field, shaken up a bit, though, on a special teams play. And Jacksonville is ready to go on a 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. Mark Brunell back in this stadium for the first time since his college days as a Washington Husky. They open up in a 3-receiver set with Sean Dawkins as the 3rd wideout. Handoff, Stacey Mack working that left side. Baselli is back. And they're going to utilize Tony Baselli on that offensive line. A strong run to start out. 8 yards. Kyle Brady helping out with a block. Mark Brunell. Well, his wife's family still lives in this area, and he told us his wife is in charge of all of the ticket requests this weekend.
That's right. She's making all the executive decisions and deciding who makes the cut and who won't.
Brunell did suffer that concussion last week. First play from scrimmage. Was able to come back for a series or two, but then Jonathan Quinn took over. Straight ahead, 2nd and a long one, and Stacey Mack able to pick up 3 and a 1st down for Jacksonville. Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland combining to make that stop. Let's take a look at the Jacksonville offense, and that offensive line does get a huge boost with Tony Baselli return. Receivers, Kyle Brady was a question mark, but Brady has been able to bounce back from a hip injury. Brunell guns it short of the marker, but it is complete to Keenan McCardle. And McCardle, with his 8th catch of the season, give him 9 yards. Depending upon where they spot the football, we'll let you know. Seattle defensively, changes made during the offseason. The big changes, of course, up the middle with Eaton and Randall. Linebackers, Levon Kirkland. He knows these Jacksonville Jaguars, having played with the Steelers. And the secondary, Sean Springs is active, so Springs could make his debut this season, but he's expected to play in 3rd down situations. 1st down for Jacksonville. Here's a toss for Stacey Mack, and not much working on that left side. John Randall limits him to 1 yard.
And Jacksonville came out with the 3 wide receiver set to start the game, looking to sort of spread out the Seattle Seahawks defense, and they can accomplish 2 things. They can go after the corners who've been a little bit banged up for Seattle, but they can also create more room in the running game to try to get Stacey Mack going here today.
Tim Terry now on the field for Seattle defensively, another linebacker. This is a 2nd and 9. Off the play fake, Brunell setting it up underneath, and Mack fumbles the football. Jacksonville able to recover it with the rookie Maurice Williams out of Michigan jumping on top of it. What could have been a very costly turnover. With Jacksonville moving the football, they hold on to it.
And Seattle has a chance to recover this fumble. See, they come in and get the hit, jar the ball loose. You'll see Marcus Robertson comes in. He has a chance to get that ball. Many of the players scrambling. Levon Kirkland also at the bottom of the pile. You have to take advantage of those opportunities and come up with the football when it's loose and on the ground.
Tim Terry, the former Bengal, knocked it loose. This is a 3rd and 7 now, just shy of midfield. Shotgun for Brunell. Steps up, guns it, and complete. McCardle cutting through for a 1st down and into Seattle territory down at the 40-yard line. 11-yard gain on the pass and catch. Brunell to McCardle.
Brunell is dropping back. You see Elvis Joseph, I should say, in the game for Jacksonville. Nice catch, missed tackle by Anthony Simmons. Have to break down and secure the tackle. He could prevent the 1st down by McCardle. You have to make that tackle if you're Anthony Simmons in the open field.
Keenan McCardle, such an excellent route runner. We've seen 2 of those routes on this drive alone. We'll get Jimmy Smith involved, of course, as well. 11-19 mark of the 1st. Out of the shotgun on 1st down. Brunell throws. Perfect pass inside the 20, and it's McCardle again. They'll move the chains, and Jacksonville is in business in the red zone with a 24-yard completion.
This is an excellent throw by Mark Brunell. He comes out red hot. They're throwing the ball. He'll get this ball right over the top of Willie Williams, drops it in front of the safeties, Just a wonderful throw, an excellent route ran by Keenan McCardle, and a nice catch also in traffic, knowing he's going to take the hit.
Elvis Joseph remains in the backfield with Patrick Washington in front of him. On a 1st and 10, here's the pitch. Joseph turns the corner. Explosive speed from Joseph. And he's forced out of bounds inside the 5. Jacksonville moving it at will. They faced 1 3rd down that they were able to convert. And now it's been all business for them with a 12-yard scamper for Joseph.
And if you're Seattle, you come in prepared to take on Stacey Mack in the running game. Elvis Joseph give the Jaguars offense a little speed and quickness in the backfield in the absence of Fred Taylor. And so now they have, I think, a really good changeup in the running game with Mack and now Joseph coming into the ball game.
Aaron Cook is an eligible receiver. Here's the pitch. Mack trying to cut it up. He slipped. Stacey Mack lost his footing and lost some yardage. 2 yards to be exact. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Mack will get the ball on the toss here. He's preparing to get headed upfield. That's his running style, wanting to cut under the safety, but he slips, and that gives Seattle's defense time to react and swarm to the football.
Line of scrimmage is now the 6-yard line. Jacksonville comes in averaging 16 points per game, the 9th-ranked offense in the NFL. 2nd and goal. McCall in motion. On play action. Brunell rolling, throwing, up high, and incomplete. Sean Dawkins, the former Seahawk, was able to haul it in, but he was out of bounds.
And Mark had his options on that play. He also, off the bootleg play action, he had the tight end, Kyle Brady, out in the flat, decided to go to the back of the end zone to Sean Dawkins. You see the run fake, but look, Brady's open there, but he tries to get it to the back of the end zone, just throws it a little high and outside. Dawkins unable to come down with the football.
First incomplete pass for Brunell, who's now 4 of 5. Sean Springs has come into the game for Seattle. In the secondary, and now a 3rd and goal. Brunell has been living out of the shotgun on this drive. Dawkins, the motion man. Brunell in trouble and sacked. Back at the 15, Chad Brown. He came in leading the AFC in that department, and now his 5th sack of the season, a loss of 8 yards.
And this is a battle of the Titans. He's taking on Tony Baselli and just drives Tony back into the backfield, come right up the top side. Just a speed rush on Tony Baselli. He knows Baselli is less than 100%, battling shoulder problems. And Chad Brown, he's a football player. He makes plays no matter where you put him, like defensive end or at the linebacker position.
Mike Hollis, a 32-yard attempt. He has struggled so far in the early going. 2 of 5 in field goal attempts. And this one he puts through. Went to high school in Spokane, Washington, so a homecoming for Hollis. And he puts Jacksonville on the board. 3-0, they lead Seattle here in the 1st.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Nextel, how business gets done. And by Burger King, home of the Whopper.
12-play, 63-yard drive. It took up 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Brunell looks sharp on Jacksonville's first possession, but give the Seattle defense a mini victory for holding them off the 6 points. Charlie Rogers off the return. Rogers bouncing off a tackler, crossing the 25, and Rogers doesn't get any farther than the 28-yard line after the gain of 17. Edward Thomas making the stop on special teams. We'll come back and we'll see the Seattle offense for the first time today. They trailed 3-0 in the 1st. Early August, Mike Holmgren made the decision to sign Trent Dilfer to a contract to be the backup quarterback here in Seattle. But this is one of the reasons why he was signed. A veteran presence behind Matt Hasselbeck. On a handoff for Sean Alexander, and Alexander cannot get to the outside. Seth Payne making that stop after a loss of 2. All 3 Seattle quarterbacks played last week because of injuries in that loss to Oakland, and Dilfer actually looked pretty good in his limited action until he took that helmet-to-helmet hit from Elijah Alexander.
He came out playing pretty good and completed a pass 54 yards, the longest pass they've completed so far this season.
Alexander goes in motion on a 2nd and 12. Dilfer puts it in the air for the first time, and it goes through the hands of Christian Fourier. And Kevin Hardy was there defensively. Let's take a look at the Seattle offense. Injuries that both teams have dealt with. The latest one for Seattle is on that right side of the line. Chris McIntosh, second year out of Wisconsin, is out with a neck stinger, and Todd Weiner gets the start. Backs and receivers, and this is a big one. Ricky Waters, 116 consecutive starts. That streak now comes to an end. Waters dealing with that busted up shoulder, and Sean Alexander getting the nod. 4 wide receiver look. On a 3rd and 12, this offense has not been very strong so far this season. But Dilfer finds a seam and gets it to Bobby Ingram. It covers 31 yards. And into Jacksonville territory, down at the 41-yard line.
Seattle's offense has had trouble protecting the quarterback all year. And here you see they get pressure right up the middle. Trent stands right in there, makes the nice completion to Bobby Ingram. Turns around and make a nice catch. But Seattle's going to have to do a better job of giving the quarterback time to complete passes in this offense. Guys are going to be open, but if the quarterback doesn't have enough time, it's going to be very difficult to move the football.
1st and 10 now. We'll call it the 42. Dilfer straight back. Good protection. Flips one over the middle and complete to Jackson. Jackson turns it upfield and brought down inside the 20. Back-to-back passing plays pay off for the Seattle offense. First Ingram and now Darrell Jackson. 24 yards. Take a look at the Jacksonville defense and the alignment with Wynn, Walker, Payne, Paul Spicer in for the injured Tony Brackens, who did not make the trip. Linebackers, T.J. Slaughter in for the injured Hardy Nickerson. And in the secondary, it's Jason Kraft in for the injured Fernando Bryant. Dilfer looking to pass it on 1st down. In some trouble. Dilfer gets rid of it and complete to Alexander. Turns it upfield and a flag down. Alexander takes it in for the touchdown. But a penalty marker thrown down at the 2-yard line and the 15-yard line. 2 flags.
Great play by Trent Dilfer, who's standing in the pocket. Despite the pressure, he still has the presence to complete the pass.
Well, both penalties working against this Seattle team. And Tony Corrente, the referee on duty here today, will give us the details.
An eligible receiver, downfield offense, number 61. This penalty is declined. Pass interference, offense, number 81. This penalty is accepted, 10 yards, still 1st down.
So take the 6 points off the board and back it up 10 yards. Line of scrimmage is going to be the 27-yard line.
Well, this is clearly a good sign for the Seahawks, the fact that they're able to manufacture some yards and create some big plays in the passing game, something they haven't done much of in their first 3 games this season. Trent, of course, has the experience, and he's showing it so far here today.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck right now is at the bottom of the rankings in the AFC in terms of quarterback rankings. Dilfer getting the nod because of Hasselbeck's injury. Alexander breaking tackles and forced out of bounds at the 5. Steve Hutchinson, the rookie out of Michigan, up front with a good smack to create some space. 23-yard run.
Sean Alexander, he's just going to take this right behind the left side. You see Walter Jones kicking out on the defensive end. He hits the seam just perfectly. We talked about the problems they've had on that offensive line, but they feel real good about the left side. Walter Jones at tackle and Steve Hutchinson, the left guard, just dominating and getting a good push up front for Sean Alexander, who has really good vision for a back who hasn't played much since coming into the National Football League.
A 1st and goal from the 5. Seattle looking to take the lead. Timing pattern. Back of the end zone. Flag thrown. Corin Robinson, the intended receiver, and Aaron Beasley was trying to deal with him one-on-one.
And Beasley gets he's a little too quick on the contact.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. As this foul occurred in the end zone, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
And Beasley gets in trouble because he doesn't get his head around to find the football. He's strictly playing the man. When Corin Robinson puts his hands up, then he just pushes it. He never turns around and finds the football. He doesn't play the football. He plays the man. That's why he gets in trouble.
First and goal from the 1. Rollout. Dilfer has the time. Throws. Complete. Touchdown. Itula Mealy. Trent Dilfer off to a good start. And the Seattle fans showing their affections early for this offense that is trying to find an identity.
Tui Mealy, he comes down inside, and then he cuts right back out. He finds the soft spot in the zone. You have to give him credit. That's a well-ran route by Tui Mealy. And Trent Dilfer actually buying time and showing poise in this ball game so far.
Ryan Lindell with the extra point. And it caps off a 6-play, 72-yard drive. The 1-yard touchdown pass. Trent Dilfer wearing that Seahawk blue. It's a little different look, but he likes the result.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood, Applebee's. And by Nissan. Nissan introduces the totally new V6 Altima, the cure for the common car.
Well, we always try to give you the flavor of the area that we are visiting week to week. And, of course, here in Seattle, that flavor would be mocha or some other various.
A perfect latte.
Perfect latte for you, not for me necessarily. I'm not a coffee drinker. Not that anybody cares.
I care.
You care. That's about it. Damon Gibson takes a knee, and Ryan Lindell is able to kick it into the end zone. And we can tell you about NFL.com, where you can log on for exclusive online auctions. All the proceeds will be donated to a very good cause, the September 11th relief effort. Just go to NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. We had a very long conversation with Trent Dilfer on Friday, and one of the many things that we took out of it, the poise and the veteran presence that he does bring to this offense, learning from last year, learning from the experience of leading a team to the Super Bowl.
And he said he wanted to learn from a coach like Mike Holmgren and work on his mechanics. He said he felt like there were things he needed to work on, and he's getting a chance to do that here in Seattle.
Spread formation, 5 receivers. Brunell avoids the rush and then sails it over the head of Keenan McCardle. It was Anthony Simmons, the linebacker, that came through to give Brunell something to think about in the pocket.
Yeah, Anthony Simmons has great speed. That's why he's such a good blitzer. But he comes off the right side, comes underneath, and Mark Brunell never sees him. He has a good presence of mind to sidestep. And that's the second tackle we've seen Anthony Simmons miss so far here in the game. Could have had the sack there. He's got to come in with a lower center of gravity and really maintain his position and make the tackle. Could have had a sack there.
6 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. 7-3 Seattle leading Jacksonville. On the give, Stacey Mack straight ahead for basically a yard. Maybe 2. Anthony Simmons involved in that stop. First man there, and then everybody joined in. Seattle defensive alignment.
Mike Holmgren has really challenged his defense to come out and play with some fire and make some plays here today until the offense can get going. A lot of young players on the offensive side of the ball, and he went out and spent a lot of money to help enhance this defense. So he wants them to make big plays today, not give up much in the run or passing game.
Seattle defense comes in second in the AFC with 9 sacks. First team was Jacksonville with 10. Brunell rifles it over the middle, incomplete. Kyle Brady in a double team was unable to haul it in, and Jacksonville will punt it.
Seattle comes in. They're making some good plays out there. Everyone's swarming to the football. Good defense, and Brady is a weapon. You see Anthony Simmons, we talked about his speed and quickness, his ability to cover in the passing game. Quite effective. He's getting in, breaking up passes. But Kyle Brady is a factor in the passing offense for Jacksonville, not able to convert there.
The dangerous Charlie Rogers is really standing in his own 30. Chris Hansen gets rid of this one, a floating punt. It does take a Jacksonville roll, and it will stop at the 37-yard line. That's where Seattle will have it. Brunell, after completing his first 4 passes, 0 for his last 3. It's Dilfer's turn next. 7-3 Seahawks, the first point Seattle has scored in the first quarter of a game so far this season. And the Seahawks get the football back with a 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. Bobby Ingram in as the third receiver. The give is to Sean Alexander, able to turn in the corner and then driven back as he crossed the 40-yard line. He picked up 6. Eric Westmoreland making that stop, the rookie out of Tennessee, first man there. Well, Trent Dilfer, last week a helmet-to-helmet hit from Elijah Alexander. We asked him about the league coming down and finding Alexander a game check. He said, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but maybe it would stop them from those helmet-to-helmet hits if they had to pay the quarterback.
That's right. Trent Dilfer said, I wish I got the money. Of course, it doesn't work that way. It would make that hit a little easier to take.
Yeah, maybe. Here's Dilfer. Off play action, Dilfer throwing and incomplete. Christian Fourier had it, and then a very dangerous bobble that, fortunately for him, hit the turf.
It's the second pass that Christian Fourier is allowed to get away from him today. And talking to Gil Haskell, the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, he says, we need our tight ends and our fullbacks to catch balls in the West Coast offense. They're often the 4th or 5th option, so they have to be able to make those catches and then turn up the field and try to pick up some additional yards. That's how you keep the chains moving in the West Coast offense.
Seattle comes in averaging 8.7 points per game, second worst in the NFL, behind only Washington entering action this week. Already got 7 points today. Dilfer on 3rd down, wide open, down to the 40, Darrell Jackson, and brought down at the 36-yard line in Jacksonville territory. That's a 22-yard gain through the air.
Since joining the team in August, Trent Dilfer has been on the sidelines listening to Mike Holmgren. He's been like a sponge trying to learn this offense, and he seems to know where guys are at in the offense. He's hitting the open man. Darrell Jackson had a career day last week against the Raiders, working against 2 really good cornerbacks for the Oakland Raiders, and Eric Allen and Charles Woodson here today. He's getting off to a good start. Already 2 receptions in the game today.
Had 5 catches, 125 yards last week. Here's Alexander breaking a tackle, trying misdirection. And that was a little bit strange as he leaned left and tried to shift it to the right.
Yeah.
Give him credit for that initial move off the line of scrimmage. He's smiling a bit.
He's trying to bounce it outside a little bit. We've already seen a couple of guys slip today, but Sean Alexander has excellent vision. He sees it back to his left, but his legs had already started to give out a little bit there. He saw an opening to his left side, but this guy is very productive. He'll be a star of the National Football League. Mike Holmgren told us in week 1 that Ricky Watters was the guy to go to, but Sean would be the future. He didn't know he would get the call here in week 4 with Ricky going down so soon in the season.
And we'll talk about that relationship, a close one between Alexander and Waters in a moment. Dilfer underneath the coverage to Bobby Ingram, who turns it inside and is brought down at the 13-yard line. They'll probably spot it at the 14, 11-yard gain. And this Seattle offense is clicking right now in the first quarter.
And one thing about the West Coast offense, you're going to get a lot of guys out in routes. Seahawks come out with 3 wide receivers. They like to get the back out as well, but can the quarterbacks find the open man? And when you have an experienced quarterback, Trent seems to be working well in this offense, knowing where everyone is each time he drops back.
And Gary Moeller's defense having some problems early on dealing with Dilfer and the Seahawks. Dilfer throws incomplete. Darrell Jackson in the vicinity in double coverage.
That pass may have gotten away from Trent a little bit. When we talked to him and talked to many of the coaches, they said, you know what, he's got to loosen up his hips a little bit, learn to relax and not try so hard. I think he tried to put a little much on that one, and that ball sailed a little high. The coverage was there also.
It was interesting in talking with Trent Dilfer. He said 2 years ago he wanted to come to Seattle to be a part of what Mike Holmgren was doing. Probably figured he'd have a chance to beat out Kittner for the job, but it didn't work out financially. He goes to Baltimore. The rest is history. And now he's here on the draw play. Alexander cutting it to the outside. He goes in untouched. Touchdown, Seattle.
And we talked about the vision this young kid has. He went right into the mouth of the defense, right into the hole. He saw it open to his left side, and I tell you, this is excellent vision. It's a gift that not many running backs have, but you'll see he'll come right in here, then he'll bounce it clear to the other side. This is just instincts. He comes right up into the hole, he bounces outside, and you see that? Look, that's just wonderful vision. I don't know if you could teach that to a running back. It's something you're born with, and Sean Alexander has it.
Extra point. Ryan Lindell tacks it on. The Seattle Seahawks have taken a 14-3 lead. We'd like to welcome the Seattle offense to the 2001 football season. It's the first time we're actually seeing it.
It is. And this is the most touchdowns they've scored so far in the first half. Alexander, he has the speed. He's a glider. You know, people have questioned his work habits since he's been playing behind Ricky Watters. He says he's accepted his role here, and he wanted to learn from a guy like Ricky Watters, and often was accused of not really wanting it. But he accepted the role, and he knew that one day he'd get the opportunity. You can see he and Ricky Watters are talking about it. Ricky is proud of his pupil. He's taught Alexander a lot, and Sean says, hey, I learned a lot from him, not only how to run the football, but how to catch passes out of the backfield, something he's going to be asked to do a lot of in this West Coast offense.
Different personalities between those two guys, Watters and Alexander, and they've gelled, forming a very nice relationship. The Seattle offense, we mentioned the points earlier, 8.7 per game. That was their average coming in here. They've already got 14. We haven't even played the first quarter yet. 2:06 mark.
Yeah, many of the coaches, they talk about the youth on the offensive side of the ball. They're very young. Young offensive line, very young receivers. The senior group of that receiving core, of course, is Bobby Ingram, but you know, the starters, Darrell Jackson, only in his second year, and Alexander now is going to ask to carry the load here in this offense, only in his second season.
On the kickoff from Lindell, Damon Gibson is waiting and fields cleanly at the center. Here's Gibson trying the center of the field, and he is trampled down at the 24-yard line by Fabian Bowens. Coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS is back with doubleheader action. First, Ray Lewis and the Ravens get after Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers, and then Brian Griese and the Broncos come to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, or the Dolphins travel to the Meadowlands to meet the Jets. Check your local listings, beginning with Jim, Jerry, Randy, Mike, Marcus, Leslie, and Deion Sanders. The NFL Today. For more, go to NFL.com, the official source for all your NFL information. AOL keyword NFL.com. Under 2 minutes to play now in the first. Jacksonville got off to such a great start offensively, but they couldn't cash it in for the touchdown. And now Brunell throwing. Jimmy Smith getting his first touch on the offensive end, and he slides down at the 44-yard line. That covered 21 yards on the passing play.
It's a nice comeback route by Jimmy Smith. He's working against Willie Williams, and he'll just drive. He stems outside, but look at the footwork. This ball's thrown outside. If he doesn't slip and fall down, he may be able to turn up and get some additional yards. Jimmy Smith, very productive at the wide receiver position here for Jacksonville.
Now it's him and Jerry Rice if you want to go over 5-year increments in receiving yards.
Team timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Seahawks take a timeout with 1:25 to go in the first, and it's Seattle up early, 14-3 over Jacksonville. Seattle 14, Jacksonville 3, and 1:25 to go here in the first. And the Jaguars with a 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line after the Seahawk timeout. Straight up the gut for Stacey Mack, and Mack is driven back after the gain of 2. Chad Brown combining with Anthony Simmons. You know, we talk about the injury to Ricky Watters. Fred Taylor with the groin injury, and they're still not quite sure when Taylor is going to return. They're hoping there's a bye week coming up for Jacksonville. Then they play a Thursday game. The game following that is what they're crossing their fingers for.
Yeah, you lose a lot when you lose Fred Taylor. Of course, 9 straight games over 100 yards rushing last year, but you lose a ton because he has such a big play capability out of the backfield, not only running the ball but catching it as well.
Double tight end set, and Brunell's pass over the head of Kyle Brady. It didn't even look like Brady was ready for it as he was completing his route across the field. Incomplete.
I think Brady was anticipating that pass going to Damon Jones. They were on the same plane but at different depths. Jones was running maybe a 10-yard route, and I think Kyle Brady was just coming across very shallow, looking to clear out for Jones. A little confusion on the play there.
So it sets up a 3rd and 8 for Jacksonville. It's Brunell, shotgun formation. Jaguars trail 14-3, under a minute to play in the first. Brunell, deep drop, steps up on the dump ball for Mack. Mack trying to accelerate, and does. Stacey Mack getting the first down out across the 45-yard line, a 9-yard gain. Chad Eaton with the stop. So this drive will continue as they spot the football at the 45.
And there you see right there, Chad Brown is giving Pacelli some fits there, but Mark Brunell, good presence, good feet, able to deliver the ball accurately on the run. And Mack, nice reception, heading right upfield. He knows where the marker is for the first down. He goes for it, and he's going to keep the chains moving here for Jacksonville.
That'll go down as the final play of this first quarter. And the Seattle Seahawks, an offense that has been awakened, at least through the first quarter of play here today at Husky Stadium. Seahawks. Starting play in the second quarter from Seattle. 14-3 Seahawks lead it. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcox, our entire CBS crew from Husky Stadium. First and 10 for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the 45-yard line of the Seahawks. Checking off the line of scrimmage is Brunell. Straight back. Brunell steps up, throws. On a cross, he finds McCardle. And McCardle is brought down at the 31-yard line. A 14-yard pickup. Willie Williams in on the coverage.
Jacksonville is going to their 3 wide receiver set and moving Brady in the backfield, the tight end, to play the fullback position, but they're trying to isolate on the corners. Willie Williams that time and working on Keenan McCardle, who's had some success catching the ball over the middle of the field. So they're looking to get Keenan or Jimmy Smith in one-on-one situations. That's the guy they want to go to right now in the passing game.
Double tight end set, another first down for the Jaguars. Off play action, Brunell rolling out, throws, and knocked away at the last moment by Anthony Simmons. He has been everywhere so far today, all over the field.
And the linebackers for Seattle, they're all gifted in their own right. And this is what Anthony Simmons brings to the table. His ability to make plays in pass coverage, has the speed, has the range to cover all the way over to the sideline. We know Levon Kirkland can stuff things up on the run in the middle, and we know Chad Brown can get pressure on the quarterback, but Anthony Simmons, he can make plays all over the field, primarily in pass defense.
It looked like McCardle was going to be able to bring that one in cleanly until Simmons came in to deter it. Shotgun, 2nd and 10. Brunell with an inside handoff. Stacey Mack is brought down quickly for a loss on the play. It's a loss of 2, and guess who? Anthony Simmons again.
Anthony Simmons, nice down in the middle. You know, we talk about Sean Alexander having good vision. I think Mack could have broken this out to the right side. There was a hole here. Simmons gets down inside, and he makes a play. Comes off the block. Makes a really nice play, but Mack could have made a play to the right side. He's got to see it a little bit sooner. Good play by Anthony Simmons, making plays in the passing game and in the run game.
Shotgun again. Brunell steps up, comes one over the middle, and complete. Keenan McCardle, that has been the combination throughout the day. Brunell to McCardle, that's good for 18 yards and another first down to the 15-yard line.
And he's wide open over the middle of the field. There's some confusion in this secondary because no one should be this wide open running over the middle of the secondary. Marcus Robinson's not happy, but see, they clear out. You see 2 people, they're running right there at the top with Jimmy Smith. There is some confusion. Someone has to drop off and cover the receiver in the seam, allowing him to go wide open over the middle of the field.
5 catches, 76 yards for McCardle. You see the update on this drive for Jacksonville, trying to get some points on the board. Here, Mack loses the football. Chad Eaton on the recovery, and Seattle's got it.
And the hit by Levon Kirkland. We talked about the strength of the linebacking core for the Seattle Seahawks defense. Levon Kirkland comes up, puts his hat right on the football. The second fumble of the day by Stacey Mack. Follow the eyes of Levon Kirkland. He'll take it to the football. He gets an arm in there. That ball comes right out. Good hit by Levon Kirkland and good hustle by Chad Eaton to get the recovery.
Stacey Mack had a career-high 93 yards last week on 17 carries in the loss to Cleveland. They've been comfortable with the way he's been developing at running back, but it has been a spotty performance so far for the Orlando native.
Yeah, Mack has been getting better each week. And they've become more comfortable in giving him the football. It's very difficult for Tom Coughlin to continue to give you the ball when you've already fumbled twice here in the first half.
You know, even though Seattle has given up a bunch of points in the last 2 weeks to Philadelphia and Oakland, Mike Holmgren said he's been happy with the performance defensively, and the rankings would show you that as well. They came in ranked number 8 in the NFL in team defense. It's been the fact that the offense hasn't allowed the defense to get into a flow because they haven't been able to stay on the field.
And this is a defense that was ranked dead last in the league 1 year ago. And so they've improved. They've gone out and brought in some players who made some significant strides, but you could see in points allowed there's been improvement. but significantly total yards per game, knocking off almost 100 yards in terms of what they've been giving up this year as opposed to last year. So they've made some strides, and I think this defense is only going to get better. When you get a healthy Sean Springs back at the cornerback position, and you're going to play better in the passing game, and it's going to allow this defense, I think, to do more of what it likes to do, is put pressure on the quarterback and play man-to-man in the secondary.
Now, if you're Jacksonville, you've had a couple of long drives. You've gotten deep into Seattle territory, yet you only have 3 points on the board in the Stacey Mack fumble, and Tom Coughlin letting Mack know he's upset.
He's very upset. It's the second fumble so far this game. But you know what? Mack's going to have to get more carries. You already saw Elvis Joseph come in, and he's looked pretty good, showed some speed and quickness, but you have to be able to trust the running back with the football. Mack is going to be asked to do a lot of things in this game, not just block, but to catch the football in the passing game. Going to have to be able to trust him to be able to run the ball, and he has to protect it in order for this offense to work, I think, efficiently and completely.
Seahawks with a 14-3 lead. They have the football, a 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line. Sean Alexander was able to find the smallest of holes up the middle for a gain of 5, and Kawaki Thomas cut him down low. Alexander has been running with confidence, and it's interesting with Sean, because you mentioned earlier the knock, at least in this area, has been the work ethic. You know, he said one issue, one reason he hasn't been a rah-rah guy like he was in college, when you're second string, it's hard to motivate other guys. He's not on the field showing his teammates that he's capable of actually doing the job. Now he is. Long strides for Alexander, and he brings it out to the 20-yard line, inching closer to a 1st down. That's a gain of 3. Jason Kraft with the tackle.
And as you mentioned, with the opportunity to play for Sean Alexander, I think you're going to not only see him be productive, but you're going to see his leadership skills come to the forefront. Had a chance to know this kid when he played high school football in Boone County in northern Kentucky, called many of his games when he was a prep player, and have known him even through his college career. His teammates seem to gravitate towards him. He has a certain personality and certain quality about him that really allows everyone to know he's not only a good player, but a fine young man also.
He sets up as a receiver now on the outside on a 3rd and 1. Dilfer has the time. Dilfer, though, now in trouble and sacked. He got devoured by Kawaki Thomas. 2nd sack of the year for Thomas.
Dilfer had looked really poised for most of the game in the pocket. I think he had some second guessing here. He seemed to have some doubt. He's got to get rid of the football. This is 3-step drop. Ball has to come out. He has the time to get rid of it. He just holds on to this ball way too long for a 3-step drop. You either find your guy who's open or get rid of the football, throw it out of bounds.
Longtime Seahawk Jeff Fiegels will punt it away with Damon Gibson standing at his own 40-yard line, ranging over towards the sideline. Brings it in at the 38. Gibson turns it upfield, trying to break a tackle, and Gibson into Seattle territory, down at the 43-yard line of the Seahawks. Tim Terry, the tackle on special teams. Excellent field position for this Jacksonville offense when we come back. Tom Coughlin is in his 7th year as a head coach in the NFL. All of those years have been with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's cut and dry with Coughlin. You fumble the football, you don't play. And Stacey Mack right now is watching from the sideline as Elvis Joseph, the rookie out of Southern University, has stepped in the backfield. Brunell throws it on 1st down. Complete down to the 30-yard line and then pushed back. Jimmy Smith with his 2nd catch of the day. It's good for 12 yards. We'll see where they give him the forward progress. Marcus Robertson, very familiar with Jimmy Smith from Robertson's days in the AFC Central, making that tackle.
That's right. And going back to Stacey Mack, he's going to have to keep his head in the game and maintain some confidence for himself, because he may come back in and be asked to really carry the load and be productive in this offense, but he's going to have to hang on to the football.
A 1st down for the Jaguars from the 31. Handoff, Joseph hitting the hole, but only gains a yard. Lamar Smith able to make that tackle down low. And a little jawing going on with Chad Eaton following the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And one thing about this Jacksonville offense, they've always had the power running game, running behind Tony Boselli and running with Fred Taylor. With Taylor out, they still have been able, I think, to maintain some balance in the offense with run or pass. But should they have to open it up and throw the ball 40, 50 times, they can do that because they have some playmakers in the passing game. And, of course, with Mark Brunell, he can light it up also.
Brunell directing traffic. He set McCardle in motion on a 2nd and 9 play. Good protection, short drop, high throw brought in by Sean Dawkins, the former Seahawk. And defensively, they gang up on him, led by Willie Williams, along with Tim Terry on the stop, 5 yards through the air.
And this Seattle defense, they're flowing fast to the football. Ball is caught, but they rally. They get more than one guy to the ball. Willie Williams, you see Tim Terry, both wrapping up, making a solid tackle, not allowing any yards after the catch. The Seahawks defense, they seem to be really up in the bit and answering Mike Holmgren's challenge to come out and make plays.
Sean Dawkins, very modest numbers so far this season. And a 3rd and 4 now. Shotgun. Brunell gets rid of it. He anticipated the hit. And a flag down. Pressure being applied by Anthony Simmons and Willie Williams.
Yeah, Williams and Simmons comes up the middle. I don't know if they're saying that this is a roughness or if they're calling Vaselli with a late hit on one of the blitzers.
Could be intentional.
Could even be intentional grounding.
He was not throwing to a receiver in mind.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 8. The penalty will be placing the ball at the spot of the pass, loss of down, 4th down.
And Mark Brunell, if he's in between the tackles, he's considered to be in the pocket, and he can't just throw this ball into the ground. It has to be for an intended receiver, and you can see he's in between the tackles. There's no white jersey, no Jaguar offensive player in the area, and that's why they throw the flag.
Also put them out of field goal range. Just cost them a shot at 3 points potentially, and now Chris Hansen has to punt it, standing at midfield. Hansen looking for the corner, a flag down. Takes a bounce and a roll into the end zone. A couple of flags. One is down at the 1-yard line. The other was thrown at around the 12. And they'll have to sort this out.
Chris Hansen, the punter for Jacksonville, doing a good job of keeping this kick on the sideline. They don't want to kick it down the middle to Charlie Rogers. He's a dangerous threat. Tom Coughlin said that, you know what, we want to keep it away from Charlie Rogers. He can hurt you.
The side judge on the play, Doug Toole, went down. He appears to be okay. He bounced up onto his feet. Now Tom Coughlin trying to sort some things out from the sideline. We'll hear from Tony Corrente.
12 players participating on the receiving team. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Well, now you make a decision on the field goal. That changes the whole scope here for Coughlin. And Mike Hollis will come onto the field to attempt a long one. 48-yard attempt.
See Mike Holmgren very upset. There's no excuse in a situation like this to have 12 players on the field. Just miscommunication and lack of organization for the Seattle Seahawks.
Hollis kicked one from 32 yards away earlier. His long for the year is 39 yards. Trying to cut into the Seattle lead with 8:47 to go until halftime. 14-3 Seahawks in front of the Jaguars. Hansen will hold it. Joe Zelenka will snap it. A 48-yard attempt. It's got the distance, and it's good. So Tom Coughlin's team is able to earn 3 points after the penalty called on Seattle. 12 men on the field for the Seahawks in that special teams unit. And it's 14-6. A pair of field goals from Hollis accounting for all of the offense.
On CBS is sponsored by Original Coors. Nothing beats an original. Your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. And by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Jim Charles with the kickoff. Charlie Rogers trying to bring it back, and now a loose football. Scrambling for it as the ball was bobbled, and Jacksonville comes away with it. Kawaki Thomas on the recovery. Ball had bounced around, and Charlie Rogers lost it. Joe Wesley with a hit to jar it loose.
Seattle comes out making plays, but now they're allowing the game to get away from a little bit. Charlie has to do a good job of protecting the football. Jacksonville seems to be given a new lease on life here, making plays in the second quarter and clawing their way back into the ball game.
And the line of scrimmage will be the 18. 7 Seattle turnovers so far this season. Seattle had so much going in terms of rhythm, and it might all turn around now. Underneath pass, Elvis Joseph breaking a tackle, diving for the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Jaguars. Jeff Smith with a key block up front. And a turnover turns into 7 just like that.
One mistake after another for Seattle. 12 men on the field, allow Mike Hollis to come in and kick a field goal, then fumble on the kick return, and then another play later, Elvis Joseph catches this pass on the screen play from Mark Brunell, and he's able to take it in. You can see the block right there. They cut down Levon Kirkland, missed tackle by the free safety, Marcus Robinson, and he walks in for the touchdown, diving over the end zone.
They're going to go for 2 here in a 14-12 game. Brunell on the handoff. And nothing doing. Elvis Joseph could not break through the line of scrimmage, and Simmons and Eaton combined to make sure he wasn't putting 2 more points on the board. So Seattle still leads it. This turned around in a hurry. A lot of firsts for the rookie Elvis Joseph. His first career catch, first career touchdown in the NFL, and one man makes a mistake, the other one takes advantage. It was Stacey Mack who fumbled the football, giving Joseph a chance to play.
Joseph taking advantage of the opportunity given to him, offers an interesting changeup from that.
Here's a lane for Charlie Rogers. And Rogers accelerates to the 38-yard line. Kawaki Thomas yet again involved in a special team stop. It's a 37-yard return. Tonight, the latest developments in the counterattack on terrorism, a special 2-hour edition of 60 Minutes, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regular time. Well, let's see if this Seattle team can get back to that rhythm that they had developed offensively. They still lead 14-12. On a handoff, Sean Alexander running into a crowd and moving forward for a gain of 2. Ronaldo Wynn combining with Seth Payne to bring him down.
Well, in the first quarter, the thing is they had good tempo. The Seattle offense came out with good tempo, mixing in nice run plays with a little pass up the field, and really found some room over the middle of the defense, middle of the football field. And I think they have to come out and try to keep that tempo going. Give the ball to Alexander, but allow Dilfer to make some plays in the passing game also.
Itula Mealy setting up out wide as a receiver. Here's Dilfer back to pass on a 2nd and 8. Avoids the rush on a dump off for Fourier, and a flag down. Fourier turns it upfield to the 45-yard line. TJ Slaughter making the tackle. It's a gain of 5 through the air, but we mentioned the penalty marker. And it's coming back. Penalty flag against Seattle.
And the penalties are, that's what kills drives, because we talked about Seattle coming out and getting some tempo and establishing some mixture in terms of the run and pass. The penalty can kill it.
Pass interference, offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
So it was Fourier who made that catch. And they're backing this one all the way up to the 30-yard line.
Fourier is just working, trying to get up the field. See, he's going right into TJ Slaughter. He's going to give him a good push right there, and that's what the officials are looking at. He gets open, but after pushing off on the middle linebacker on TJ Slaughter.
Both teams making some personnel changes. And a 2nd and 18 now with the clock approaching 7 minutes to go in the first half. Dilfer standing tall with Buckner. Great throw out to the sideline, and Corin Robinson. And if he stayed on his feet, he might have skated the distance. 22 yards.
And Trent Dilfer talked about working on his mechanics. He wasn't quite ready to throw this ball. He was a little off balance. He throws it behind Corin Robinson, who gets on top of Jason Kraft. And if the ball is led just a little bit up the field, he's going to catch this ball running. He'll go in for the score. Robinson does a good job of adjusting to the ball because it's overthrown. He's starting to emerge and come into his own a little bit, getting used to this offense.
Line of scrimmage is the 47-yard line of Jacksonville. Tippy-toeing a bit. Alexander cuts it to the outside and then spilled out at the 44-yard line. A gain of 3. Marlon McCree, the rookie out of Kentucky, free safety with a good stop on Alexander.
And Sean has good vision, but he has to attack and press the hole much faster than he did on this play. I think he was trying to time things up. And this is just an excellent tackle coming up to make the tackle. And this is an awesome play. Really good tackle by Marlon McCree. Coming up and taking out the legs of Sean Alexander.
Double tight end set. 2nd and 7 now from the 44. Motion man is Fourier. Dilfer deep drop. Dilfer puts it in the air. Itula Mealy. Mealy trying to struggle his way in. And he's brought down inside the 5. Trent Dilfer, fortunate. Very fortunate.
I would say he's very fortunate as well. This ball looked like it could have been intercepted. It's not an excellent throw. This ball's way too flat. Kevin Hardy gets a hand on it, but Mealy hangs on to it and able to haul it in. He's able to stay on his feet and almost makes it to the end zone.
You know, you think back to the Shannon Sharp play last year in the playoffs where Dilfer benefited from a deflection. You know, sometimes it pays to be lucky.
He told us, he said, we don't have to play pretty. Sometimes it's going to be ugly. I would say it was ugly there.
Inside run. Touchdown. Sean Alexander. Steve Hutchinson creating a little extra room, leading that charge, and Alexander takes it in for the score.
Talk about how young this offensive line is, but they know running to the left side behind Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson can really be money in the bank. They have a lot of hopes for these two guys, the left guard and the right and the left tackle, I should say, Walter Jones, and they just blocked down, cave in the entire side of the Jacksonville defensive line on that side and able to go in for the touchdown.
This has looked like a different offensive team. We saw this Seahawk club week 1 against Cleveland, a win 9-6 over the Browns. They couldn't generate much offense. Trent Dilfer's pumping the fist, and why not? His team's in front 21-12. 21-12. The Seahawks lead the Jaguars. 5:06 mark of the second quarter. Coming into this season and in the early part of the year, Solomon, I think the Seattle fans thought the combination of Hasselbeck and Ricky Waters would be the 1-2 punch that they would need to be successful in 2001. Little did they know it would be Dilfer Alexander that would show them the highlights on the offensive end.
Well, they get the experience at the quarterback position. Playing in this West Coast offense, it isn't easy. Of course, Matt Hasselbeck, he backed up Brett Favre in Green Bay, so he knows this offense a little bit. When you talk to the coaches, they said we were a little disappointed in our offensive line those first 3 games. Did not do a good job of protecting the quarterback and giving up 18 sacks in the first 3 games. So far today, they've done a really good job, I think, of protecting Trent. And Trent has done a good job maintaining poise in the pocket, finding the open receivers, and he's made the throws. Even when he didn't make the perfect throws, it still worked out in their favor, and they were able to get the catch. And 21 points in the first half. That's something they have not done so far this year.
Give credit to Itula Mealy as well, who had the concentration to come up with that ball off the hand of Kevin Hardy. 5-play drive, 62 yards. Alexander capped it off with a 3-yard touchdown run. And the Seattle Seahawks lead it 21-12. On the kickoff from Lindell, Damon Gibson looking for some blocking. Gibson takes a hit and then lunges forward to the 30-yard line. That's a 15-yard return, and Marcus Bell involved in special teams to make that stop. Well, let's focus on Jacksonville now. Mark Brunell, who last week suffered his first concussion after that hit from Gerard Warren, the rookie out of Cleveland. First play from scrimmage. Brunell has looked good, very good at times, but Jacksonville only has 12 points to show for it.
He's looked really good, and the team told us that without Mark Brunell in the huddle, they were shaken up a little bit, so they really believe in Mark Brunell. He can lead this team back.
You heard the word panic. That's never a good sign. Off the play fake. And too high for Kyle Brady. It'll be 2nd and 10. Now, Jacksonville, one thing we talked about at great lengths over the course of the week in our preparation is you can't really put your finger on what they are offensively. With all these teams with a West Coast offense, different looks, What'd you come up with in discussing it with different people?
Well, it's not really a West Coast offense. They like to stretch the field vertically. It's something we saw from, Ernie Zampese when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. They want to try to attack the seams and get players over the middle of the field. We've seen Keenan McCardle do that so far here today.
Elvis Joseph remains in the game, working that right side for a 2-yard gain. And Levon Kirkland with the tackle after Joseph could only gain a couple.
This offense, it takes its lineage, I think, from the great Sid Gilman. But as you see here, Levon Kirkland, he's trying to shut down this running game, and he's good at doing this, taking on the linemen, stuffing them, and still has the good footwork for a guy who's 260 pounds or more to get into the hole and get into position to make the tackle.
3rd down and 8. Coming up on the 4-minute mark of the second quarter. Brunell buying some extra time, working out of the shotgun. Brunell has the protection. Rifles. And caught by Jimmy Smith. That's a 1st down for Jacksonville. Ike Charlton had the coverage. 2nd year out of Virginia Tech. It's good for 10 yards.
Smith just does a good job. This is a guy, he's come back much sooner from his 3 off-season surgeries, and he just drives Lucas off the ball and comes back, and it's well timed by the quarterback Mark Brunell, and Jimmy Smith just been so productive for the Jaguars over his career.
On 1st down, running into a crowd, and just about everybody involved defensively to make that stop. And yeah, hey, listen, you fumble for Tom Coughlin, you pay the price. And right now, Stacey Mack is finding that out the hard way, with Elvis Joseph continuing to get the opportunity in the running game.
And Elvis Joseph gives them a little bit of what Fred Taylor had given him. Speed on the outside. He can run inside, but he can bounce it outside the tackles and pick up some yards also. Tom Coughlin very high on the young player and talked to us about him in our meetings yesterday.
A native of New Orleans, 4 carries, 19 yards. Here's Brunell. Timing coming. Up top, Smith couldn't make the Willie Mays catch, but a flag down. Marcus Robertson. On that near sideline, a late hit.
Now, Robertson has to time this up a little bit better. Not only does he lead with the head, but, Jimmy Smith is in a defenseless position. And this is what they're trying to do to protect some of the skill position players.
Personal foul. Defense number 31. A hit against the defenseless receiver. 15 yards. Automatic. 1st down.
We'll show it to you in slow motion. You'll see what he's looking at here. So he's trying to get the hit, but he's clearly out of bounds, way out of bounds. But this is real speed. How's that for Nat sound? And you can hear the hit there.
Well, A, he doesn't have the football. B, he's out of bounds.
And 3, he led with the head.
Yep.
And you can't do that in the National Football League. The officials are going to protect what they call defenseless players, and Jimmy Smith was in a defenseless position at that point in time.
1st and 10 now. Line of scrimmage is the 41 after the late hit call on Robertson. Straight back. Brunell surveying the field. Knocked up in the air. Almost picked off. Jimmy Smith was the target, and Willie Williams had coverage. And the ball was hanging around a bit until it fell down to the grass.
And watch how many players get to the ball here. They break up the pass there, but there was a number of blue jerseys there around the football. 4 guys in the picture there, and that's what you want from a defense. When the ball is thrown, get to the football, swarm, good things happen. And they almost came up with another turnover.
John Dawkins is in as a 3rd receiver, now a 2nd and 10. Clock is stopped with 2:47 to go, 1st half. On the handoff, Joseph did not have much of a push. And Chad Brown with a tackle after a gain of 1.
Big play coming up here on 3rd down. Seattle defense could have been off the field. It was a 3rd down play when Marcus Robertson drew the penalty, hitting Jimmy Smith out of bounds. They're in 3rd down situation here again, and they're going to have to stand up big and make a play. Of course, Mark Brunell is trying to advance the chains and pick up the 1st down, get some points.
A 3rd and 9 from the 40. Movement from Brown. Flag comes down. Brunell says he has a free play, and he airs it out. Incomplete to Alvis Whitted, the former track star, now in his 4th year out of NC State.
This is Chad Brown. He left a little soon and couldn't get back. Another penalty against the Seahawks on 3rd down.
Now the officials huddling up with 2:03 to play now in the second quarter, and Brown got a bit overzealous on the right side of that defensive line.
Well, he's had some success rushing the quarterback, getting after Mark Brunell today, and just left a little too soon. Has to do a better job of timing it up, having just better discipline. He jumped way before the ball was snapped.
Chad Brown signed as a free agent here in 1997. He has had 5 different defensive coordinators here in Seattle since making that move to come west from Pittsburgh.
And a lot of players use it as
there was no play. Defensive player came in the neutral zone, caused an offensive player to false start. This is offside defense. Play should have been shut down. Therefore, 5-yard penalty will be assessed. The game clock will be reset to 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you.
And back to Chad Brown, you talk about all the defensive coordinators he's played under here in Seattle, but he's continued to be very productive for this football team here in Seattle. He gets after the quarterback, makes sacks, and he's also a high production guy in tackles. Look at that, 94 tackles last season, 6 sacks. So he's a Pro Bowler, but he gets it done at a number of different positions, whether it's at defensive end on 3rd down or at his outside linebacker position on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, he's on pace to have a monster season defensively for Seattle. And you've got to imagine, Levon Kirkland's presence has not only helped Chad Brown, but it's helped Anthony Simmons be a little bit more aggressive and take some chances.
And these guys played together before, Levon Kirkland and Chad Brown, when they were in Pittsburgh in a 3-4 defense. They're in the 4-3 here in Seattle, and they still continue to be productive.
On the 3rd and 4 out of the shotgun from the 35. Jacksonville looking to convert and keep this drive going. Brunell steps up. He can run it. Brunell slips down short of the marker as he gains a yard. Anthony Simmons was the man chasing him from behind, and it takes us to the 2-minute warning. Jacksonville will face a 4th down when we come back from the 34.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service. The United States Postal Service is everywhere, so you can be anywhere. And by Gateway, where you've got a friend in the business.
(21-12), Seattle leading Jacksonville. 2 minutes to play in the first half. And a 52-yard field goal attempt is coming up. Up next, Nextel halftime report. Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry, all the scores and highlights. Plus a CBS News update. That's coming up at the half. Mike Hollis has made 2 field goals today. His career long is 53. This is from 52 yards away and no good. That's wide to the right. Jaguars come up empty. And with 1:54 to go in the second quarter, Seattle takes over. Trent Dilfer. Now we're going to have to get into it, Solomon, at some point, and that's going to be if this team holds on and Dilfer continues to perform, whether or not Mike Holmgren is going to have quarterback controversy throughout this town. He obviously will. The media, the fans will react, and we might want to hold off discussing it until second half, but I'll just plant the seed with you. You can think about it.
The seed has been firmly planted because Trent has come out and played very well here in the first half.
On first down, can Seattle put some more points on the board before halftime? Sean Alexander accelerating into Jacksonville territory. Jaguars defensively have been having major problems. Aaron Beasley with the stop. That's a 16-yard catch and run for Alexander.
Jacksonville's having some problems. They're playing without one of their starting corners, Fernando Bryant. Beasley, of course, is in the game, but they have some other guys, Jason Kraft, who's coming in playing, and they're going after some of the non-starters in the secondary.
No Hardy Nickerson as well. He did not make the trip. T.J. Slaughter involved in the stop after the gain of 3. Alexander with the carry. Clock is moving down to 1:10 left, first half. 2nd and 7 upcoming. Gary Moeller taking over this defensive unit. And while the Jaguars come in ranked number 5 in the NFL, you don't get the sense they've hit their stride defensively just yet. Play action. Dilfer steps up. Look at the time. Dilfer throws. End zone. And that's a mistake. Interception. Aaron Beasley hauls it in. And Trent Dilfer knows it.
Now, Dilfer's not happy with Corin Robinson. He's expecting this ball to go to the outside. Instead, he goes to the inside. The ball is intercepted.
21-12, Seattle. A turnover.
Here's what happened on the interception. Darrell Jackson's going to come underneath to hold the coverage. But then Corin Robinson has to stay outside and go to the corner of the end zone. That's where Trent Dilfer is expecting him to be. He doesn't get there, and he allows Aaron Beasley to get the interception. Corin Robinson, young rookie wide receiver, has to know the playbook and be where the offense calls him to be in order to make plays.
Mark Brunell with the out pattern to Jimmy Smith. And for Jimmy, that's catch number 500 in his NFL career. He hits a milestone with that 13-yard reception. Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry, all the scores and highlights and the latest NFL news, plus, of course, a CBS News update. That's all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. 500 catches, over 7,000 yards, and 38 touchdowns for Jimmy Smith in his 9-year NFL career. Out of the shotgun, Brunell with 34 seconds left now. Brunell is sacked at the 15-yard line. Michael Sinclair with the chase down and then the takedown.
This Seahawks defense is really getting after the quarterback. And Mark Brunell today, there's a number of guys. Mike Sinclair, he's coming through. Chad Brown, John Rando. There are a number of guys coming in to keep Mark Brunell hemmed in the pocket. He's very mobile. We know he can run away from linemen, but when you get that many people in the backfield, it doesn't bode well for your quarterback. Seattle coming out, putting good pressure on the quarterback here in the first half.
And a loss of 18 yards. Timeout has been called with 32 seconds to go in the first half. And now if you're Jacksonville, you're facing a 2nd and 28. Now you're pinned back at your own 15. You got to go conservative here, I would assume.
Yeah, it's really tough. You don't want to blow up and have any mistakes here and turn the ball over. I think you try to take some shots up the field, but you don't want to get your quarterback hurt. But you want to just get out of here and take it in and try to come back in the second half.
And they'll go conservative with Elvis Joseph. He got stuck by Ike Charlton. No gain on the play. Tried a little shake and bake move, and Charlton didn't buy it.
And this is where they really miss Fred Taylor, because they're almost forced to be more one-dimensional, heavy on the pass side, and that's why Seattle can really pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. Fred Taylor really makes the defense respect the running game, and without him, it's really tough for this Jacksonville offense.
End of the first half here in Seattle. Seahawks 21, the Jaguars 12. We'll send you to Jim Nance in New York for the Nextel halftime report after these messages.
Nextel Direct Connect halftime report. Nextel. Get right through.
Welcome to the Nextel halftime report. Jim Nance from our NFL Today studios in New York. Mike Ditka, Randy Cross, Jerry Glanville alongside. A couple of audiences in right now. There is a little theme here developing today. Running backs who did not begin the season as starters making a big impact, including Mike Anderson of the Broncos.
Mike Anderson in the two-back set, cuts it back, 62-yard touchdown. He steps out at the 4, but the officials miss it. He has 106 yards for the day. And what about Kansas City? They got Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes has 35 yards for the day. Look at him. He stepped out. He's out.
He's still out.
Come on, Jim. Bring it back, baby.
No, not reviewed. Touchdown. And meanwhile, let's talk about another running back, Sean Alexander filling in for the injured Ricky Waters. How about his play,
doing
Mike?
really good. They don't lose much with Alexander to get. I'll tell you, the big thing, Trent Dilfer is playing very well. He threw an interception right before the half with one of those Hail Mary throws. Playing good.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys lost quarterback Quincy Carter early in that game with a hamstring injury. And look at the Jets and Bills, 28-15. Rob Johnson, this is rule the fumble. They did review it.
Absolutely. Mo Lewis caused that. John Abraham picks it up. The Jets are doing what the Niners did to him Monday night, running it.
All right. Green Bay and Tampa Bay, and that is 7-7 with 27 seconds to go in the half. Brett Favre picked one back the other way for a touchdown, then later threw a 67-yard score to Bill Schrader. All right, here we go. Settling down now with finals. Tennessee has matched its loss total of a year ago. 0-3 the Titans.
Early in the game, they drive down and hand it to Terry Allen on a draw play. He goes 9 yards for touchdown. And this is what they've been lacking in past years. Big plays. And here they get one from Elvis Grbac way down the field to Rodriguez for a touchdown, 78 yards.
Allen went over 100 yards today rushing for the Ravens, who are now 3-1. Hey, the Browns matched their entire win total from last season, their third win, beating the Chargers with 1:15 to go.
How about Tim Couch going to Kevin Johnson here for the game-winning score? Cleveland played some defense against the Bolts.
Little history day there in Pittsburgh, the opening of Heinz Field, and Jerome Bettis over 10,000 yards, 14th player to do so.
They stopped the game here and give him the game ball. He goes on and rushes for over 130 yards. And the Steelers have over 275 yards rushing. There's a quarterback draw by Cordell Stewart. He can run like a running back. He just can't throw.
I'll tell you another running back to talk about. Yeah. That is Lamar Smith.
Big day, 144 yards. Here he takes a little handoff up the middle, bounces it out to the right, takes it in from 7 yards. They're playing good. Good, solid defense. They gave up no defensive touchdown.
Miami's 3-1. So were the Giants, who went with Damon Washington. He had 1 career carry in 2 seasons. Then after Ron Dane sprained his neck, he got 25 attempts for 90 yards.
Well, here, Kerry Collins throws his touchdown pass to Dan Campbell. Washington 0 for 11 on 3rd down.
How about this finish? 4th and 10 for Arizona. 9-game losing streak on the line. Jake Plummer, he's beaten the Eagles before in the 4th quarter.
Watch him fake the pump, pulls the safety out, goes in the deep corner. Good run after the catch. Twist, turn, stretch it out. Cardinals win. Cardinals win. Break a 9-game losing streak.
Unbelievable.
5th time Jake the Snake has led him to a 4th quarter comeback win over Philadelphia alone. Meanwhile, Chicago, the defense came up big.
They came up really big. Here's a trick play. It's a lateral to Booker. Booker throws it to Robinson. Touchdown. They knocked Chandler out of this game with his 5th concussion. The Bears were all over. The Bears can play defense, gang.
Hey, Booker threw one and caught one today, and the Saints got 5 field goals from Carney, including a 50-yarder. Ricky Williams over 100, and their defense shuts down Culpepper and company.
How about a little revenge for the Saints after that playoff loss last year? Darren Howard causes that fumble by Dante Culpepper, and Chris Oldham picks it up and takes it in. Sammy Knight picks it in, takes it in for a touchdown.
And the Saints now, with that win, 2-1. Vikings slumped to 1-3. A programming note: due to the world events, the Emmy Awards will not take place this evening. Here is the lineup. It begins with a special 2-hour edition of 60 Minutes, featuring the latest developments in the counterattack on terrorism. Then it's Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by King of Queens and CSI. That's all coming up tonight, right here on CBS. Back next, we'll have a CBS News update from Dan Ruther. Thanks for being with us on the Nextel Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through.
Latest at this hour. The waiting is over and the first attacks inside Afghanistan are well underway. U.S. and British forces launching 50 cruise missiles. First to be hit were the airport and other military sites in Kabul, with efforts to avoid civilian concentrations. Command and control centers and Al-Qaeda terror training camps also were targeted. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld said terrorists are the only target.
To say that these attacks are in any way against Afghanistan or the Afghan people is flat wrong.
Defense Secretary Rumsfeld. Osama bin Laden said the United States will not live in peace until there's peace in the Middle East and until U.S. troops leave Saudi Arabia. He said that in a videotape that apparently was made before today's attacks, but after the September 11th attacks. Earlier, President Bush spoke from the White House.
In this conflict, there is no neutral ground. If any government sponsors the outlaws and killers of innocents, they have become outlaws and murderers themselves. And they will take that lonely path at their own peril.
Other headlines: British, French, and German leaders back today's attacks and those to follow. Bombs and bread. The Allied airdrop of food to the Afghan people is about to be started. The planes are already in the air. And tonight's Emmy Awards on CBS have been canceled. That's the latest news at this hour.
Nice news.